So this is how I export stems from Logic Pro ready for mixing. This is to either send to another mixing engineer, or when I just want to bookend the end of a production session so I can start mixing with like a fresh session, a fresh pair of ears. It's also a great way of backing up all your virtual instruments. So like if in 5 years time you want to do a remix of this track and you want to go and export stems, but you don't have the same bass plugin anymore, it's not supported or whatever. The first thing to do is just grab your cycle locators and put them with a bit of pre-roll, a bit of space at the beginning, and then enough space at the end that you don't cut off any reverb tails or anything like that. I've grouped these and created track stacks so that I don't have to export loads and loads and loads of tracks into my mix session. For example, I don't need to have 6 rhythm guitar tracks just because I've used different rhythm tones throughout the song, or different claps throughout the song. I can group them into track stacks. So now you can see we're like going to greatly reduce our track count from all of those down to that many. So the next thing you want to do is head over to File, Export 22 tracks as audio files. And now this is when it's important that you've already set your cycle locators, right? Like we did at the beginning. So export cycle range only, wave, 24-bit, that's what I work in. Include volume and pan automation. I want to include anything that I've done in the production stage because I feel like that's the same thing as when you're working in a studio and you're trying to commit, you're trying to get the song to sound as good as possible, as quickly as possible, and you don't want to lose any of that personality and have the mixing engineer just start from scratch. So then overload protection only is fine for that. If you've got red lights peaking on your tracks when you're playing back, you'll need to go and change that and turn them down and fix that before you export your stems. Otherwise they will be clipping when you send them to your mixer, and that will sound potentially bad. And then I'm just going to call them track name. I could put in custom here, and we could put, for example, the artist and then song name as well, and then it's going to label those nice and neatly for us if we're sending them to someone else. But I don't really feel like that's important for me, so I'm not going to do that, which is pretty clever. And then you can just export them. It's that simple. Cool. So the next thing, and this is really important to do, especially when you're collaborating with other people, is just pull them into the session now that they've exported. And then you can just have a quick playthrough and check that they're correct. If there's anything that you want to know in terms of like different techniques, anything that's like going to be easy for me to make a short video about, just let me know and I'll put it up. Cheers.